much for being here, Flo.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Wow, I just want to say your hair reminds me of my own old hair, and before I dyed it, and it like makes me miss it. But I'm like, you know what? We move on from this time. But let's get right into it. I obviously brought you onto the show, and I met you back at your Blushington's launch event. Now, ever since that time period, can you tell me more about what has been going on since?
Okay. Well, Blushington's was probably another business endeavor I did with my closest girlfriends. Sad to say, it didn't go well. Not at all.
It happens.
So, like a year into it, we had to shut it down. I wasn't happy about it. And then I went into a depression. I lost a lot of money. I lost a friend.
Wow.
And there was obviously other things going on with my other businesses as well. And it was a lot for me to take on all at once. So last year, this time, not doing well at all.
Wow.
But I'm happy to report that after therapy and, just a very supportive network, that I've been able to come out of it and start rebuilding. So you've actually caught me at a time where, like there's new things going on in my life, and like I'm really excited to talk about it now. Had you caught me, a year ago, no good.
Probably not.
Yeah, no, I wasn't in a good space at all.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And I know it's tough. Obviously, you go through these motions, and something so big as that launch event that I was a part of. I was like, ooh, this is cool. Like, they just pulled up a spot in Toronto, and I'm about to get my lashes did and all this. But then it doesn't go as well as you wanted, and that's hard to go through. So can you talk a little bit more about what you went through when it came to the depression and what you're feeling?
To be honest, genuinely, generally speaking, I'm a pretty happy person. I have lots of energy, and
which is the vibe I got from you initially.
Yeah, so I get really excited about stuff, and you know what I mean? And I feel like it kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. I did not see it coming.
Yeah.
I felt like, I didn't even know what it was, to be honest with you. I'm like, there's no way that I am feeling like I can't even move. I can't get out of bed. I can't brush my teeth. I can't even shower. I'm not eating. I'm not reaching out to friends. It was a whole different life. And to be honest, looking back, I don't even recognize that person that was there. Yeah. And it's just honestly, I shut myself out completely. I wasn't on social media. I mean, it was so draining to me. Even to get out to go see my psychologist, I was like, this is a lot, and then I was doing some research just on my own, and I had all the symptoms, and I just didn't know how to get out of it. And my closest girlfriends were just like, obviously something's wrong. Flo is not the same person. And even to them, they're they've known me for, decades, and they just couldn't believe it either. But I think again, I was taking on too many things. Yeah. I was spreading myself way too thin. Yep. And it just became so overwhelming. I gave up on life. I really gave up on life. Wow. I really did. And I just, again, there was betrayals going on. There was lies going on. There was all of these bad things happening one after the other. Even I got scammed on Facebook for $1,000.
Wow.
It was just, to me, it was all of these bad things were happening all at once, and I couldn't get out of it. So it was just again, through therapy and just being able to just, simple wins, man. Getting up out of bed, taking a shower, brushing your teeth. These are things we take for granted, okay?
It's true.
Some people can't do that. And now I really have a better understanding of what it is to really live your life. And yes.
Be present and be able to be yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Being present.
Yes.
That to me is that is the ultimate lesson, I think, in all of this. Because honestly, I felt like I was watching my life in a third person. Yeah. I was out of a complete out of body experience.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, so that situation, I could say, is very relatable for myself. And I would say maybe 2 years ago I was going through that same kind of emotion. Didn't didn't feel like myself, and I didn't really want to get into what I was doing, and I was like, maybe, you know, maybe this stuff isn't for me, maybe I'm not supposed, maybe this not meant to be. And you mentioned spreading yourself too thin, and I find that I've done that so many times, and I'll either burn out or I'll be able to, you know, recognize maybe I should take it slow and figure this out until you get to that moment where you're like, oh no, never mind, I'm actually, you know, making things worse on my end. Could you speak on finding that balance, and how do you actually been able to achieve that now?
Yeah, like I said, I was just doing way too many things at once, and it was like the whole idea of like self-care.
Yes.
You know, and I know it's like a buzzword on the internets and stuff, and it's just like, honestly, it's so important.
It is.
And even back before like social media was a thing, it was like you always have to ensure that you are good. And this kind of like boils down to the fact that I'm a parent.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like I need to make sure I'm good in order to be a better mom to my son. You know what I mean? And if I'm not good in any respect, then I'm doing a disservice to him in order to make his life be better. Okay. So like for me, like that was my inspiration to kind of like, again, Flo has to be good. Flo has to be happy in her relationship, in her work, in her personal life, her friendships, her, you know, like everything revolves around me as the individual first, even before him. You know what I'm saying? Because in life, you can't be or do what you want to do in a positive, you know, in a positive.
Unless you're,
yeah, unless you yourself are happy with yourself.
It's true.
You know what I mean? And like, in this day and age, all my friends are married, they're all having kids, and they're also getting divorced. You know what I'm saying? They're all getting separated. So it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, are you happy? And you have to really step back and evaluate the landscape of that is your life, and understand that you have to take care of you first.
It's true.
Yeah.
And on that note, in terms of, you know, relationships and stuff, I'm starting to find that people get into things and rush it and make it like, oh, I love him and her and this and that, but don't actually know what's ahead of them.
Yes.
And like you said, now they're going through divorces, now they're going through all of these, you know, situations that are out of their control because of the moments that they put themselves in.
And I just wanted to mention, like, living in a city like Toronto, it's like, you know, obviously the rents are ridiculous.
Yep.
And like, and this is just one scenario where it's like, you know, people aren't happy, but because their finances you know, the cost of living is so prohibitive to be single and living on your own. Like people stay in like toxic and shitty relationships just to get by in life. And honestly, do what you can, even if it means like rooming with 5 roommates somewhere else separate and apart from that toxic individual. You gotta do it. Like there's just no excuse to be living unhappy. Like
it's true.
Yeah.
And
by all means necessary.
You laid it all out.
Yeah. You have to be happy.
And you touched a lot of it on being a mother and your son. When you first had him, and you know, during that time period, what was it that what were you feeling like when you had your son at a young age? Like,
okay, so like back in the day, you know, now it's like social media, it's like self-esteem issues, bullying, you know, cyberbullying and that kind of issue. Back in when I was, you know, growing up, it was drugs and pregnancy. Wow. So in order to like say you made it, you had to just not be pregnant and, you know, graduate or not be a crackhead or a prostitute. You know what I'm saying? So like, I missed the mark by a little bit, but I got caught up too. I ended up being a young mom, and, you know, I had to drop out of school. And all my other friends out traveling, going to Miami, doing those girls trips, you know, sharing hotel rooms with 10 people because, you know, you simply can't afford it. And it's like, what does it matter if you're just going there to sleep and, you know, change? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm sitting there breastfeeding, changing shitty diapers. I was depressed. I had postpartum. I was not in a good space again. Like, I wasn't in a good space. I feel like I lost my identity. I couldn't be who I wanted to be, you know. And again, my friends that, you know, made it out, they're living their best life. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, To be honest, it really was a life lesson, but I wouldn't have it any other way, because I feel like that has made me the person that I am today. And my son, God bless him, he has pulled me out of some really bad situations, not because he said anything, not because he was encouraging me, but his presence serves as a reminder that this life isn't just about me. You know what I'm saying? And hey, there's people out there that don't want to have kids, and that's fine too. Like, they have their own goals and they have their own, motivations or whatnot. But for me, that he is the reason why, I continue to do what I do. Yeah. You know what I mean? Wow. Yeah. So, I mean, and now those same girlfriends now are, 35 and plus, having young babies. They don't have the stamina, they don't have the energy, they cuss and complain all the time. Their body isn't bouncing back like say a 21-year-old would. So
worth it for you.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
So taking it back to when I first met you at Blushington's, I remember someone whispered in my ear, they were like, that girl is under 40 and she one has a 16-year-old and at the same time also is running multiple businesses. And I'm like, I gotta get to know her. So that's when I was like, let me go introduce myself to her. And right then and there, positive vibes, positive energy, which I truly appreciate. Could you tell me more about everything else that you've got going on for you right now?
I mean, to start off, I still work full-time for the Ontario government. Nice. So that job is not going anywhere.
Good.
To be honest with you, I feel like that has served its purpose in more ways than one. It's set the foundation for all my other businesses. You know what I mean? Of course, it's funded.
You got to fund your dreams and everything else you got going on with your 9 to 5 currently.
So I would never knock it, and I would encourage anybody who has a full-time job to not be so quick to jump that ship to pursue their entrepreneurial journey just yet. Like, I feel like, a lot of the times we're, on panels and in women's empowerment sessions, everyone wants to be this entrepreneur.
Take the leap of faith.
And it's just like, guys, you have to do it strategically. Like, there's no reason for you to just rush off. And like, I mean, like I said, I have a young son at the time, so I was like, I need the benefits, I need the steady income, I need to be able to have vacation time and stuff. Like, so again, my motivation, my intent was very different from, say, someone who doesn't have kids and someone who's is living with their parents still. So for me, it was something that I needed to do. So eventually, like, I started Dirty Bird, which is Toronto's chicken and waffle go-to spot, plug. Yeah. And to be honest with you, again, everything that was my full-time funded that. And I think now it's going into its 6th year of operation, but we started it 2 years prior, so it was like 7 years old. The brand is 7 years old now.
Congrats.
Thank you so much. Lot of work.
Before I met you, I remember hearing about it, and I never got a chance to go to it. And then I saw you, and I was just like, oh my gosh, everything's kind of the world is small, or Toronto's small in
absolutely
general.
Toronto's small. And like, for me, it's like, how often is it that we get to meet owners of companies that we
built
patronize?
From the ground up.
Yeah, built from the ground up and patronize. Like, so it's like, for me, like, I always make it a point to be accessible.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And I love that, and that's why you're here right now. So, thank you.
And like I said, that is like a mantra that I completely live by, totally. Like, and I'm open and honest about everything. You ask me a story, I'm gonna tell you the truth, okay? Or at least my truth.
Before we started rolling, you told me my face was too greasy, so I was like, yes, thank you. I gotta put that back in.
Listen,
You're like,
we're all here to support each other, man. I can't have you out here looking crazy. So,
thank you.
Yeah, and then after having that experience, I feel like I was delving. Yeah. But like, also my full time doesn't allow me to be creative, or like I work for the Attorney General, so it's very strict, very government oriented. So like red tape everywhere. So I needed like a creative outlet. So that's kind of where how like the branding, marketing piece came to play. And so I started a company, an interior design agency with my Rich and Poor, yes, with my childhood girlfriend. Wow. She was 3, I was 4. Her mother practically raised me. I know her longer than she's known her own sibling. So you know what I mean? It kind of just speaks volumes to the type of person I am. Like, I'm an only child, you know, so I only have my single mom in Canada, and like my friendships are basically
family.
Yes, and that's how I value all my girlfriends. You know, they're all my sisters, and I treat them as such. And so that's why it's been really important with me to me to be able to maintain those friendships even through business. And that's why I think Blushington's was such a shot in the face, because I'm just like, you know, this was something I started with my close girlfriends.
Exactly.
You know, and I really thought that that could be the foundation that this business was built upon, and like, it didn't happen. And again, I lost one friend out of that, but the other two were still really close. But yeah, that really hurt me. And then so I started the Rich and Poor home with my girlfriend, and we use that as the platform for my interior designing for other clients that have storefronts.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then obviously it carried on into AF1, which was a Caribbean restaurant, which was one of the clients, and then Blushington's. And then recently I opened a grocery store.
I saw that.
Yes, so Clutch Market is another franchise that I'm working on from the ground up.
And that's just down at the Esplanade?
Yes, so
really
again, plug. If you go to Young ACC, it's right underneath the Novotel at Esplanade and Young.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. So I mean, the plan is to like open multiple locations for 2020.
Yeah.
And you know, like I think when you are building stuff from the ground up, the model is usually franchising.
Yeah.
In one way or another, whether it's a party, storefront, or even like shows. They do franchises all over the world. You know, like Wheel of Fortune, like they have them all over the world.
Family Feud just came to Canada.
That's right. So do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so it's like almost, I feel like that's like a natural progression of someone who is.
And you're doing it. Like, with Dirty Bird, you've already opened up another location.
Yes, we have 3, soon to be 4.
Wow.
In the next coming weeks. And, you know, it's what Tim Hortons was or McDonald's was, you know, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? It's like you have to be 50 years ago. Yeah. You have to be diligent in the way you work. And hey, I may die before I see 100 global locations of Dirty Bird, but the point is
you started that.
Exactly.
It's gonna expand.
Exactly. And you've built the foundation in order for it to expand to those levels.
Exactly.
But it starts now, because like when Dirty Bird was just coming out, no one thought it would be a thing.
Now.
Exactly. Yeah. So I just want to put it out there. Like, you just never know. Keep doing what you're doing. You know, because you may not see the end result.
Yeah.
But know that you were there from the start.
Now, I know you're super into Carnival as well. You are one of the biggest Carnival enthusiasts I know. I saw your social media Carnival plug. Tell me more about that and how people can connect as well.
Well, Carnival plug is, again, a friend of mine who also travels the hell around the world, carnival chasing. And I think at that point it kind of only made sense, because anytime anyone goes to Carnival, it's like, oh, let me check in with Flo. Let me see what let me see what she has to say about it. She's already done the research, and I feel like, you know, year over year there are little improvements, but for the most part the experience remains the same. And like, why not just package it up into a platform where it's like people can refer to. But I think as an individual, people know me as like T.O. Flo. That's really where I kind of got my start, where I was like the shade room before the shade room was even a thing. You know what I'm saying? Everyone would come to me at, hey Flo, where the party at? Who's in town? What's the new music? And stuff like that. So I think, again, it was just like a natural progression of the lifestyle that I live. And like, you know me, like, you come to me, I will tell you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm always happy to pass on that information, especially if I already done the research, because I feel like this day and age, it's like, why go through it yourself and save yourself the time and money? Just speak to someone who's already had the experience.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's kind of how that kind of is. But I mean, you know, Carnival is a wonderful thing. And even though I'm not West Indian, I feel like Toronto, Toronto encourages that and like allows it to manifest in everybody. And it doesn't have to be just Caribbean, but like a Latino background, you know, Middle Eastern. I eat Indian food all the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not just locale and where you're from or where your parents are from. Like,
Toronto is so cultured that you're able to embed in these different cultures and be yourself in it. Like, my best friend growing up, he's Jamaican Guyanese, and ever since then, like, I kept continuing to make friends with Caribbean people and West Indian people, and like they just vibe, you know, we just do our thing, and they've accepted me into their culture as well. And similar with you and I, you know, we're both Asian, but we love to play mass, we love to jump on road, like we love to do these things for the culture, but also because it's, you know, it's something that we enjoy and something that we grew up with our friends in that time.
And exactly, and I think that kind of sets the tone, like, of what Toronto is. And that's why I love it so much, is that, you know, it embodies and welcomes everybody doing everything, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, like, on that front, I feel like, you know, we are very lucky to have this type of environment and raising children in this environment so that they see the, you know, the cloth that is Toronto.
I agree. And growing up as well, like, I was able to be a part of a ton of different cultures, and that's how I got so much into different foods and being the self-proclaimed food connoisseur that I am.
Nice.
So this part of the show, where we're going to do a quick rapid fire lightning round kind of thing, and where I ask you a couple of questions and then you kind of choose either this or that, or what your preference is. Okay, so we obviously spoke about Carnival, and you know, music is obviously involved. So soca or reggae?
Soca.
Okay.
That is hands down. Don't even have to think about it.
Gotcha. Any favorites right now, or something that you can't ever get old of?
I mean, you know, right now it's like Problem Child and Kes. Always a fan favorite.
Kes. Yeah,
never go wrong, and he's fine too. So yeah. Nadia Batson actually has a couple songs out right now that are really good. So
they're all great artists, and they really produce a lot of great things.
Very solid, very consistent.
Great for the road.
Absolutely.
Favorite thing on your Dirty Bird menu?
I would say the ODB, man. You have to say, you know, with the original Dirty Bird, and that is kind of where that whole concept started. So
what's on the
original Dirty Bird? It is boneless chicken, quarter leg and thigh on a waffle with our house dirty sauce, which is like a sweet and savory barbecue sauce, but it's made in house, so it's not manufactured anywhere.
Yeah, looking at your menu, a lot of your stuff is maple infused, or like
so like that is like our ode to Canada, like, you know, because we're like patriotic, I guess, in that sense. But it really is labor of love and where we come from. So Toronto, and that being Canada.
Yeah, as we spoke about. And favorite junk food?
Junk food? Yeah. Yo, everything. I prefer to eat junk food, specifically like chips, than drink.
I'm the same way. Actually, I haven't drank since 2016. That was my New Year's resolution. I kept with it, so I've been super sober. Yeah. And I always eat as well. And I could, between you and I, everyone's listening now, but I could body an entire bag of chips, 2 of them in one sitting. Totally unhealthy for you, but I love it.
Yeah.
Favorite chip?
Favorite chip. I mean, like, the story about that, behind that, I was 16 years old, down in the Esplanade, drinking when I shouldn't have been drinking, and I got so sick. Alcohol poisoning, you know, my stomach lining was gone. I was vomiting. I sounded like a 5,000-year-old man with throat cancer, with the hole, you know, the hole in your throat.
Yeah.
Like, yo, that from there on in, I never was able, like, I couldn't drink. And it wasn't until, like, recently, like, with the depression and, like, all of these bad things happening to me, I was like, okay, I need some sort of release. I'm an adult. I'm over 19. Yes. I think, you know, it would be responsible of me to just have a drink. And that's kind of how I got back into it. But, like, I still prefer junk food day in, day out. No qualms about it. Absolutely. And, like chips. Doesn't matter what kind. Cheetos, flaming
All of
hot.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
flaming hot Cheetos. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm all on it.
I love
yeah.
ketchup chips, so
and you can only get that. You can only get that in Canada. Yeah. So, but it has to be flavorful. Yeah. Like it has to have lots of like color Lay's on it. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm not eating it. Like I will literally fish out the ones that have all the flavor on it. Everything. Yeah. Absolutely. That's the only way to eat it. Yeah.
What is your favorite motto?
Oh man, you know, honestly, again, in my long life, I've kind of like over time have picked up like these mantras, as I like to call them. But it's like, again, you have to be happy.
Yep.
That's like absolutely number one. Number two, if you don't ask, the answer will always be no. And then, you know me,
closed mouths don't get fed.
That's right. But you see what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'm like, I don't care who I'm talking to. Could be the director of like the biggest, brand in the world. I like, it's just innate in me. I just have to ask. Yeah. And what's the worst that can happen? They'll say no. So in life, I feel like that is something where it's like really hits home, where it's like, if you don't ask, the answer is always going to be no. And in the same vein, this is the last one, is like, if you won't know unless you try.
Yes.
And again, I've lost so much money. I almost feel like, sometimes I just jump, head, feet, arms, legs first.
Always.
And then, think of the repercussions later. And like, it's worked in my favor. And recently it has not.
Yeah.
And having looked back, I feel like even though as bad as it was, it was a lesson learned. And it was really profound in what I've experienced, even though it really took me like rock bottom. I feel like I needed to have that in order
lesson, essentially.
Yeah, in order to
overcome it.
Right, and rebuild stronger, because I see what it is to be there
in that moment.
Yeah. So yeah, that's really, really important.
So the series is really focused on inspiration, and its title is Aspire to Inspire. What are ways that you feel inspired, and who do you gain inspiration from?
I mean, it's really cliche, but I feel like the next generation that's coming up, I feel like they have, so much more resources, so much more opportunity and access to do what I'm doing, but don't necessarily need the decades of experience to be there. And I think that's really important. I feel like that is super inspiring to me, that young people are able to like jump at these opportunities and make the most of it while there's still
resources and there's the environment for it.
Yeah, and while they're still young and they don't have like big responsibilities, because again, not that I would ever change it. I feel like having my son at a younger age really did impact the trajectory of my progress or of my successes or whatever. So, if there's anything that I can, preach is, again, start making those decisions, obviously with knowledge and experience, but do it so that you're not losing time, because I feel like time gets away from us so quickly. We don't even realize, and like I told you I mentor children or young women, grades 1 through 8 on a weekly basis, and even at that age, it's like, I mean, their issues are different. So like for them, it's like body image and self-esteem and like self-confidence. But it's like just little things. You tell them, hey guys, it doesn't matter what the girl says to you
or what anybody else thinks.
Because it's like they just see
themselves, and they see it in one little box and in school.
And I'm like, guys, life is so, this is just a little...
It's bigger than that.
Yeah, this is just a little clip, maybe 30 seconds in your whole biography documentary. Like this won't matter to you. Trust me and believe me. And you know what I mean? They need to hear that, because it's like they can't see past, their front door.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, to me, like I want to, they inspire me to do the work that I do, so that I could, again, preach that gospel, guys. Like, you know, you are strong, you're beautiful, you can do
capable.
it.
Yeah.
Yes, you're capable.
More than capable, yeah.
And, you know, I think, to me, that is where I get my inspiration from. I feel like even my son, you know, he has taught me so much, you know, just the way he questions me, you know, and not in a rude or disrespectful way, but it's like it challenges me to communicate differently, because if I'm in a room full of adults all the time, it's like, you know what I mean? You have to adjust the way you
back
communicate.
into that time of your life, and you're like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Their thought process is different. They haven't experienced everything that I've experienced already. So let me take a moment to be in their shoes.
Exactly. And as a young parent, I feel like, you know, I have that advantage because some of his friends' parents, they're like 60 and over, and they're like, they can't go to the club with their kids. They can't like talk about, you know, cannabis or alcohol. And, you know, the friends that he has, like, you know, they say, oh, your mom's a MILF. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But at least, you know what I mean? He's not scared to like talk to me or bring me around or whatever, because it's like, you know, you
have that connection.
Yes, exactly. And that experience. And it's like, hey, you can be cool, but be responsible. You know what I'm saying? You can be a teenager, but don't drink and drive. Like, it's stuff like that. And it's like, it resonates not just with him, but his friends too. They see like, oh, like, you know, young people can have kids and, you know, still achieve their dreams. Yeah. You know what I mean? No, so it's like stuff like that, I feel like really helps to propel the message that is, you know, you need to be able to give back 100%. and still be able to pursue your dreams as well.
And I'm myself, you know, have a huge passion for community and getting out there, and youth is definitely an inspiration for me as well. So definitely want to continue doing that, and I love that we embed that into our workspace and balance it in our life. Absolutely.
And the reason why I feel like I'm super just passionate about it is like, I grew up in Regent Park before it was gentrified and before they moved out everybody, and like that's where I came from. That place was the hood. Okay, there was dead bodies in the back. There was prostitutes, drug dealers everywhere, everyone everywhere, but it was still community. Everybody knew my mom, everyone knew me, and they looked out for me. You know what I mean? And they made sure that I didn't, you know, get into that lifestyle, and that there was an option to choose better.
So just to wrap up your Flo, what's next? What's next for you?
Ooh, I'm really, really, really excited about like what 2020, this new decade. I feel like, again, like my son, my son is 18 this year. He's going to university, and I feel like he's now embarking on one of the biggest stages of his life. And, you know, for me, I'm just happy to see that, you know, all the stuff that I worked so hard to do has manifested itself in my, you know, in my offspring. Really good kid. He does really great work with his community.
I know, I saw that report card.
Mentoring, you know, he mentors the grade 9s that come in that are coming in, and, you know, like that to me is like the like for me the biggest testament of the work that I've done, specifically with him, but that I'm capable of delivering that same experience to, you know, the younger generation that is even after him. You know, part of the reason why I started Dirty Bird was that I wanted to be able to hire my kids, my friends' kids, my nephews, my nieces and stuff, for them to have that experience of saying, oh, you know, like I work for this company and I know the owner. Okay? Because again, growing up, I didn't know who owned Foot Locker. I didn't know who owned McDonald's, and you don't get to have that. Yeah, you don't. It very rarely happens in this day and age.
Unless you actually work there,
or it's your dad, or it's your mom, or you know what I'm saying. So it's like, to me, that is really the message of like generational wealth and being able to, you know, fuel the ecosystem that is the community, and being able to, you know, speak to that with experience, with, you know, firsthand storytelling, and, you know, again, being active in the community, hands-on, not just, you know, you know what I'm saying? Like giving money and hoping for the best.
No.
Yeah, funding is one important component of this, you know, of this picture, but you need to be in there with the community, getting your hands dirty.
And another thing, I remember we bumped into each other at an event, and I was like, Flo, how do I keep going? And you're just like, be consistent. And I kept that with me, and I'm like, be consistent. You know what? I know what I have to do. I'm doing it. Now it's a matter of just keeping going.
And again, in this day and age of social media, I feel like everyone wants everything to be perfect, you know,
or happen right away.
Right. Instant gratification, happen right away. Like, and the thing is, like, we are our biggest obstacle, I think, and we usually talk ourselves out of things by saying, oh, well, you know, it's not perfect. Oh, I don't have this. And when the fact is, you got to do it. And over time, it will get better with experience. So it's like, don't let that stop you from doing your TV show, from doing your broadcasting, from doing your hosting, because it's like, you know what I'm saying? It gets better over time, and you will see the results once you look back 2-3 years later, and you're like, damn, that's how I started.
Right?
You know what I'm saying? But you have to appreciate the process, because I'm telling you, what was Dirty Bird, 6 years ago is definitely not what it is today. And I can tell you, like, the 4th location that we're opening up, I can't disclose the location yet, but, you will see me and you will remember me every time you come and go from this city. That's all I have to say about that. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do you think I was thinking about that when we first started this brand on the food truck?
No.
Absolutely not. But the brand has built itself, to a caliber that is respected on an international stage.
Yep. And all that work was put in by you and your team. And everything that you put into it was, all grit, all work. And it takes time and really
exactly. And honestly, it's the time factor.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
Patience. Oh my.
Yeah, the
Jesus.
patience.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And they don't teach that in school.
No.
You have to teach yourself.
Financial literacy is another thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, we can go.
Another day,
yeah.
Another topic for another day.
Yeah. But absolutely.
Thank you so much for being here and sharing your story and bringing your beautiful self on set. And it's just,
thank you so much.
It's so awesome to have someone like you, share their story and be able to inspire those that are around them. So thank you so much.
Thank you. You're so welcome.